Let's talk about something that if you've ever managed a team, you know can be a real headache: capacity reporting. Today, we're going to break down how you can get from that state of total confusion to crystal clarity, just by learning how to pick the right tool for the right job.
Does this sound familiar to you? One week, your team is absolutely swamped, just drowning in work. And then, the very next week, people are kind of twiddling their thumbs, looking for things to do. It's this crazy, frustrating cycle of feast or famine.
You know, when you see that pattern, it's really easy to just write it off. To think, oh, that's just how our work is. Or maybe we made a few little planning mistakes, but here's the thing. It's not bad luck. It is a massive, flashing red sign, a symptom of a much deeper problem in how we're looking at our team's capacity. And this, right here, is the heart of it. I want you to start thinking of your capacity reports as tools. You wouldn't use a sledgehammer to hang a picture frame, right? Well, using one single capacity report for every single kind of decision is basically the same thing. The problem isn't your people, it's the tool you're handing them. Okay, so let's dig into this. Let's find what I call the capacity blind spot. This is where that mismatch really happens. We've got to get past the symptoms, the overwork and the downtime, and figure out the real root cause of why our planning so often feels like a guessing game. Now, this little snippet from our source material absolutely nails it. It points out two super critical variables that we tend to ignore. The first one is your organization, and the second is the specific decision you're trying to make. See, the report itself doesn't matter nearly as much as how well it fits those two things. And boom, here it is. The real problem isn't the numbers or the data. It's this three-way mismatch. A total disconnect between the report you're looking at, the unique context your team works in, and the specific decision you have to make. When those three things are out of sync, well, your entire plan is going to be out of sync too. So how in the world do we fix this? Well, it all starts by asking the right questions. And the very first one you need to ask yourself is all about the decision. This is your ground zero, your absolute starting point before you do anything else. So seriously, before you open up a single dashboard or spreadsheet, you've got to ask, what am I actually trying to decide right now? Am I doing long-term annual budget planning, or am I just trying to figure out who has time to jump on an urgent ticket this afternoon? Totally different questions. And this slide really tells the story. On the left, you've got those big strategic decisions, the stuff that shapes the future. On the right, you've got the tactical, in-the-moment stuff. A report built for strategic planning is way too high level for daily tasks. Using it is like trying to use a satellite map to navigate your grocery store. It just doesn't work. Okay, so you've nailed down your decision. That's a huge first step. But that's only half the equation, right? The report also has to actually fit the world your team lives in. And that brings us to our second big question, which is all about your context. And this is so important because there is no such thing as a standard organization. The way a small, fast-moving startup works is completely different from a huge bureaucratic enterprise. Your company's context, your team's context, it's like a fingerprint. It's totally unique. So here are the kinds of things you've got to be thinking about. How big is your team? Is your work pretty predictable, or is it pure chaos every day? Is the work you do highly creative and tough to estimate, or is it more like an assembly line? Just answering these gives you a much clearer picture of what your report actually needs to show you. All right, so now we have our two key ingredients. We have the decision we need to make, and we have the context we're working in. Now we just have to put them together. With these two pieces, we can build a super simple process to find the perfect report every single time. So let's be really clear about the goal here. We're not looking for the quote-unquote best method. That doesn't exist. We're looking for the right method, the one that is perfectly tailored to what you need right now in your environment. That's the win. And here's how you do it: a super simple three-step framework. First, define that decision. Are we thinking big picture or small picture? Second, take a hard look at your context. What makes your team unique? And then third, with that clarity, you can finally pick or design a report that actually works for both. We've gone over a lot, but if there's only one thing you remember from this whole explainer, I really hope it's this next idea. This is the mindset shift that will change absolutely everything for you. This is it. Stop hunting for some magical, one-size-fits-all best capacity report. It's a unicorn. It doesn't exist. Your energy is so much better spent understanding your specific needs and then building or adapting the right report for that specific job.
Think of it like this. You need a whole toolbox, not just one silver bullet wrench.
So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Think about your day-to-day, your weekly planning, your daily stand-up, whatever it is. What's just one decision that you make that you could make smarter, faster, and with way more confidence if you just changed the tool you were using to look at it? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.